Sundays at 10, here we are again. Not at church or in our groups, but still learning about Jesus the King. He's the ruler of everything.
Hello everybody and welcome to another week of Kids Church in your homes. For those who don't know what my name is Emily and I go to St Peter's Church. Welcome to you if you are joining us for the first time. Before we get going this morning, I've got a birthday card and that is because it's Bella's birthday tomorrow and Bella will be 2. So happy birthday to you for tomorrow, Bella. Now I hope you've all had a good week. Normally it would have just been half term, so I wonder if you got up to some different things than you usually would in a normal week. Maybe you had a bit of time off from homeschool. Anyway, we are going to carry on with, in our big Bible story this morning. But before we get going, I'm going to pray and I'm going to ask God that He would help us as we look at His Word, the Bible, this morning. Help us to learn more about Him. Dear God, thank you so much that we can carry on learning about you each week together. Please help us to learn more about you today when we look at your word. Amen. Now, because we just had a half term, some of you might have missed a bit of schoolwork, Maybe you really like doing your homeschool. So I thought I'd start off with a quiz. It's not a test, we're not at school, but a quiz to get our brains thinking. And it's a simple yes-no quiz, or thumbs up, thumbs down. So if you think the answer is yes, put your thumbs up. If you think the answer is no, thumbs down. Okay? So, are you ready? This is to help us remember what we looked at last week. So last week, God's people were moaning and grumbling and said they wanted to go back to being slaves. Yes or no? Everybody got an answer? The answer is yes. I hope you had your thumbs up. Now, next question. God made them go back and be slaves. Did He do that or did He not? Yes or no? Did He make them go back and be slaves? No, He didn't, did He? But what did God do instead? Did God speak to Moses and give him some rules of how to live? Yes or no? Did God speak to Moses and give him rules of how to live? Yes, He did, didn't He? And we learned that those are really good rules. Okay, next question then. I hope you're ready. God's people were really good at following the rules. Can you remember yes or no? Were they really good at following the rules? No, they weren't, were they? They said they were going to follow the rules and they didn't do it. Well, that was a quick quiz. I hope you managed to get all the answers right, and I hope that's helping us get ready for what we're going to be doing today, having remembered what we looked at last week. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this, but each week we've been looking at in the different Bible stories, going through the bits of the Bible, there's been a bit of a theme. God does something loving and kind to His people to help them love Him and to follow Him. And God's people still don't manage to follow Him properly. They sometimes have good intentions and they say they're going to follow Him, but they don't. But today, we're going to see another way that God is trying to help His people follow Him. And it's another way that we see that God is keeping His promises, because God is showing that He still loves His people. And that is going to be through a boy named David. And some of you might have heard of some of the Bible stories about David in the Bible. But if you don't know anything about David, then we're going to sing a song now about David. And we've got a really special treat because Nao and Percy are going to sing us this song. They're going to teach us a song. Now, this song is probably aimed for little sparks. So if you're not at school yet, but I think it's a great song and it has some great actions. So even if you're a bit older, you can definitely join in and you'll be able to learn it really easily. So let's hand over to Naya and Percy and they're going to teach us a song about David.
Hi little sparks, it's Naya and Percy and Emily. We were so excited because Emily said, could we teach you guys a song? And we've been singing this song for quite a while in our house because we love the story of David, and we're going to be looking at the story of David just after we've learnt this song. So it's really exciting that you get to learn this. Percy's going to do it with a teddy, so if you want to get a teddy, you can do it with a teddy. We're going to sing it and teach you the actions, and then you could maybe try it and we'll do it again. Okay, so this is the song. It's called Only a Boy Named David. And it goes like this. You going to sing it with me, Percy?
Yeah.
Okay. Only a boy named David, only a little sting. Only a boy named David, but he could play and sing. Only a boy named David, only a babbling brook. Only a boy named David, and 5 little stones he took. And 1 little stone went into the sling, and the sling went round and round. And 1 little stone went into the sling, and the sling went round and round. And round and round and round and round and round and round and round. And 1 little stone went up in the air. Whoa! Boom! And the giant came tumbling down. Crash!
I don't like it.
So that is the song. You've got to have some stones, 5 stones. You can do it with a teddy and you crash at the end, just like the stone hit Goliath on the head and went crash. Okay, so let's try again. Ready, Percy, to do it again? Okay, you can watch and Mummy will sing. Ready? Only a boy named David, only a little sling. Only a boy named David, but he could pray and sing. Only a boy named David, only a babbling brook. Only a boy named David, and 5 little stones he took. And 1 little stone went into the sling, and the sling went round and round. And 1 little stone went into the sling, and the sling went round and round. Ready, you've got to go fast for this. And round and round and round and round and round and round and round. And 1 little stone went up in the air. Woo! Doo! And the giant came tumbling down. Crash! Silly Bobby. So there you go. You can have lots of fun with that one, and you remember when you throw the stone like this, when you sling the sling round like David did, you've got to go really, really fast like this. Round and round and round and round and round and round. Have fun. Bye guys. You had fun?
Fun.
Thanks, Naya and Percy. Wasn't that song great? But why don't you have a practice at home? And if you want, you can send me a video of you singing the song and we can show a little clip of it one week. You can either send it to the email on the screen, or if you have my number, then you can, one of your parents can WhatsApp it to me. Now, we're going to sing another song. Unfortunately, Naya and Percy aren't helping us learn this song, but Rosie and I are going to help you sing all about Jesus. And it's reminding us that the Bible is all about Jesus. And I wonder if anybody has learnt the rap yet. Maybe if you're a bit older, this is the one that you could learn. And you can send us some videos of you doing that. But let's, why don't we all stand up and sing this song. Remember, you might need a bit of room to do some of the actions. So get ready to sing this song.
Every word is true. They were all breathed out by you. Your spirit wrote through mine like a pen in the hand of a God who knew that we would need to know how much you loved us so. You wrote it down for us forever. Oh, from Genesis to Revelation, it's one story of your great salvation. It's all about Jesus, oh, it's all about Jesus. Shining down from there. its light, like the sun that shines so bright. It leads us day by day to the one, the way, the truth, the life. And every time we read, you give us what we need to grow in grace and know you better. Oh, from Genesis to Revelation, there's one story of your great salvation. It's all about Jesus, it's all about Jesus. Shouting out from every page, there's one hero that can save the day. It's all about Jesus, it's all about Jesus.
It's all about Jesus. Even from Eden we read, the serpent will be crushed by the seed of Eve. 'Cause all glory belongs to the Son. Every story pointing to the Holy One. Like when Abraham put Isaac on the altar, he pulled a knife, but God, he never faltered. Faithful to his promise, he would provide a substitute ram for the sacrifice. And now he gave commandments so we could see his holiness and our desperate need. There were so many temporary sacrifices, none of them were perfect, no, but Christ is. The prophets knew and they were not liars. God would send his very own Son to be Messiah. Rescued, redeemed, restored, reclaimed. Everything loves his holy name, 'cause he died on the cross to take our place. The fine substitute and eternal grace. Then he rose from the grave and up to the throne until he comes again to gather his own.
From Genesis to Revelation, it's one story of great salvation. It's all about Jesus, it's all about Jesus. Shining out from every page, there's one hero that can save the day. It's all about Jesus, it's all about Jesus.
Fantastic. Do take a seat now, because this is the time where we hear from people, from friends, from our church family. So obviously we can't see people at the moment, but we can hear from them and see them on the screen. And the way that we can love them, even though we can't see them, is by praying for them. So we're going to hear from one family and from one leader and how we can pray for them. And then after they've both spoken, you can pause the video and in your families together, pray for them. And then you can also pray for them during the week as well. They're just going to say one thing that you can pray for them for. So it should be easy to remember during the week.
Hi everyone, we're the Timpany family. I'm Jack. This is
Grace,
Sarah.
that's William, and that's Mummy.
I'm Sarah.
Thanks everyone for praying for us this morning. And we'd really appreciate if you could pray for us as we look at the Bible in the morning. We try and do it just after breakfast. We usually have cereal, don't we? And then we do these. What are these?
Devotional dippers.
We do some devotional dippers and we just look at a bit of the Bible each morning. And we'd really appreciate your prayer that we would listen and enjoy that as a family, and that we grow in our faith in Jesus. Thanks so much for praying for us. Bye.
Bye.
Hello everyone, my name is Jess, and you may recognise me from helping out with Little Sparks on a Sunday morning. Thank you so much for praying for me. I would love your prayers that I would grow in patience and love for my family and know how best to serve them during this time we have together. Thank you, bye.
Thanks guys, and do remember to be praying for them during the week. Now, do you remember the song we sang earlier about a boy called David? Well, we're going to be learning more about him now. And I wonder if maybe you remember 3-4 weeks ago, we learned about a man called Abraham, and God promised him that one day he'd have a really big family. Well, this boy David, he's part of Abraham's family. He's something like Abraham's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson. I don't know, I had enough greats there, or maybe I had too many. But there was a long time between them. But he was one of somebody from Abraham's family. So you can see God is keeping his promises. And also in the story of when God's people were rescued from Egypt and brought through the sea, they were Abraham's family as well. Isn't it exciting to see how the whole Bible fits together. Now, David was a shepherd boy. He wasn't very old and he wasn't very important, but something quite special did happen to him. You see, one day, he was made king. He was just a very normal person and he was chosen to be king. But before he actually became king, he did have lots of other adventures. And maybe you might have heard about one of them, which actually is the one we sang about in the song. He was the one who killed Goliath. But when he was old enough to be king, God made him king. Now, we're going to do something a bit different this morning to what we usually do with the story. We're going to have a look of the story of David being God's king in his special land, together at home in our houses. And I'm not going to tell you the story. What you're going to do is you're going to have a look in the Bible you have at home. And if you don't have one at home, don't worry, there will be a link to something that you can use. And you're going to read together the story. Maybe mum or dad will read it, or if you're old enough, of course, you can choose to read it as well. And then maybe you can do a bit of acting, you can pretend to be the king. If you have a hat or a crown already, you can put it on your head at the right time, or you can just make a crown out of your hands. But you can do some acting and you can tell the story a couple of times if you want. On the screen, I'll put some pages of the story for some of the Bibles that you might have at home, and then there's also a link to a story that I've just put on a PDF for you to use if you don't have an appropriate one at home. If you're a bit older, then I've also put the passage of the Bible that you can read it from as well. So, pause the video now. Hopefully you can quickly go and run and get a Bible if you haven't already got one, and then read the story at home, act it out, and then join us back all together and press play when you're ready. Did you all read the story at home? Now, we probably all read slightly different versions of the story, but hopefully we all found out that God made David his king. And David was a really good king. Now, he didn't do everything perfectly, but he was a really good king because he loved God and he tried to help God's people follow God. He tried to help God's people follow God's rules. Because he loved God, he knew that following God's rules was the best thing that people could do. And so everybody was pretty happy. They really liked having a king who told them what to do, and that was to follow God. And do you know what else? They were also living in the special land that God had promised them. Do you remember last week? God's people were just waiting to have to go into the special land that God had promised them. But now they're here. They're in the special land. They've got a really good king. And they're really happy. God is still looking after them. And do you know what? We're just like the people in God's people in the special land too. I mean, we're not living in a special land right now, are we? And King David was alive a long time ago. So he's not our king now. But we have been given a great king that we can follow. Who is that king? In some of your Bibles, it actually might have told you who the great king was. So you might already know the answer. But that great king is King Jesus. He's an even better king than David. Because even though King David was a great king, he sometimes didn't follow God's rules. He actually did some really bad things. But King Jesus has never done anything wrong. And so we have a great king that we can follow. And if we follow Jesus, we know that we will be really happy. Like God's people were when they followed God. David helped them to follow God, and King Jesus can help us to live the right way too. Now we're going to play a game, and this game will help us remember what we've been learning about King David. So on this piece of paper, I have got lots of different things that are all about David's life. And then I'm going to take one of them away, and you have to guess at home which one has been taken away. Great, so here is the board of different pictures. I just run through them so we know what to memorise. We have Goliath over here. the crown that David would have worn as king, the castle or palace, the harp. David was a musician and he wrote lots of songs and sang them to praise God. Throne, presumably as he was king, he would have sat on one. Here's his slingshot that he used to kill Goliath. A sheep, because obviously he was a shepherd growing up, and some lovely food, which he would have eaten as king. Okay, I'm going to take the first one off and you have to try and remember or guess which one I've taken away. Okay, hope you remember the pictures. Which one have I taken away? That's right, I took away Goliath, didn't I? Okay, next one. Which one have I taken away? That's right, I took away the slingshot with a stone in it. Okay, I'm going to take another one away. Which one have I taken away this time? Can you remember? It's the crown. I hope you guessed it right at home. Now, I'm going to take another one away, but I'm also going to mix around the pictures. So, you'll have to be good at remembering this one. Can you remember which one has been taken away? It was the harp. Did you get it right at home? I'll take another one away. Do you know which one has been taken away? Did anybody guess the food? That was the right answer. Okay, I think you guys are all pretty good at this at home. Can you guess this one? Can you guess which one's been taken away? Did you guess the sheep? If you did, you're right. Okay, one last round then. Just going to do some mixing up here. Can you see which one has been taken away? Did you guess that I took two away? I took the harp, but also the castle, the palace. I hope you managed to get some of those right. Maybe you got all of them right. Now it's time for us to pause the video again and to do some questions with our families at home. There's a link in the description below for the questions. Just that there's a couple of questions for each age group. Do them at home in your families and then pray together and then join us back and press play and carry on with the video. Now, if you have been with us before, you will know that after the questions, we learn a memory verse. And Rosie has been teaching us different parts of the memory verse each week. And we're slowly building up to the whole memory verse. And so I'm going to hand over to Rosie again now to tell us the next bit of the memory verse.
Hi everybody! So good to see you and so good to be learning some of God's true word, the Bible, together. Isn't that so fun? God promised this good news long ago through his prophets. The promise written in the Holy Scriptures. Okay, should we try that all again? We'll always do it all the way through so that we can really get it in our brains, okay? I'll try that and then your turn. Okay, so my turn. God promised this good news long ago through his prophets. The promise written in the Holy Scriptures. Okay, now your turn. Let's do it together. God promised this good news long ago through his prophets. The promise written in the Holy Scriptures. Very good. Ooh, okay, so just a reminder on the words. It is the promise written in the Holy Scriptures. And the Holy Scriptures is just another word for God's true word, the Bible. So the Holy Scriptures, just another word for the Bible. Okay, ready? Why don't I do that and then you do that? Okay, so my turn. God promised this good news long ago through his prophets. The promise written in the Holy Scriptures. Okay, your turn. Do it with me. God promised this good news long ago through his prophets. The promise written in the Holy Scriptures. Quick test, what are the Holy Scriptures? The Bible, exactly. Great, well done everyone. We're going to keep learning that next week.
Thanks so much, Rosie. Isn't it great fun learning that memory verse? Now, I've got something that you can either do after you finish watching the video today, or you can do during the week, and it is the craft. Now, some of you earlier might have wanted to pretend to be the king, but not had a crown. So we can make one now. Now, you just need a yellow piece of card or paper or a white piece that you can colour in. And you want to get an adult maybe to cut out the sides of the crown, and then I've just stuck it together. But this is the important bit. Before you stick it together, you need to decorate it. I forgot, so it's a bit tricky. And I've also written something on it to help us remember about the story. So I've written, David was God's king. He helped God's people love God. So that helps us remember all about King David. I've got some stickers and some jewels. I'm sure you have lots of different things you can decorate at home with. So there you go. You can make your crown at home. And the other thing that you could do during the week, some of you have been seeing lots of pictures of some of you doing this, is your banner. There's my mistake. We're putting a big crown on the top because remember, David, the king, he followed God. So he trusted God as his king. And then we're putting the land there because remember that God's people are now in this special land. What's next? Oh, a castle for a king. That's where King David lived, in a nice palace. And everyone is happy. Sadly, we have come to the end of our video this morning. If you do want to do some more things to learn about David during the week, then there are some ideas in the Google Drive folder. But if you don't have time, that's okay. Before we leave, I'm going to pray and thank God for the great time that we have had together this morning and for what we've learned about him. Dear God, thank you that we can learn more about you each week. Thank you that King David was such a great king because he told the people how to love you. And thank you so much that we have King Jesus who can show us how to live rightly too. Amen. Well, I hope you have a lovely week. Remember, do send us any photos or videos of you doing anything that we've said in this video. It would be great to see how you're getting on. Bye!
COVID-19, Children's Church on your screen, about Jesus, King of everything.